Praise God and good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Roger Ward, and many of you know me already from my attendance, I think, the last 3 or 4 weeks here at MCC of Greater Dallasville and Herald. Before I get to the scripture, and in concert with the message of the scripture, I want to share with you very briefly a little bit about me, and to give you some insight into why I share the things I do, why I preach the things I do, why I'm led to witness the things that I do. It's a very personal thing. It's part of that relationship that I have this way, then going out this way. Several years ago, 2009 or 8 or so, I experienced a disconnect from my higher power. In some circles, you've heard it referred to as that dark night of the soul. It was really a dark night. But Psalms tells us there is really no place we can go that our higher power isn't there. Amen. I found that out firsthand. You see, my Jesus found me in the dumpster. A stomp down addict and alcoholic. And the Holy Spirit, who meets you where you are, as you are, came to me and said, Roger, I forgive you. I love you. And my Father has a plan for your life. Now, even in that state, with my mind somewhere on Jupiter, disconnected, dirty, filthy, smelly, in a dumpster, the Holy Spirit cut right through every fiber of my being. And I said, Lord, I thank you for the love and certainly for the forgiveness, but what's this plan? He said, I'm going to qualify you and send you back into that dumpster. And you're going to witness to folks that there is absolutely no criteria for my love. I just love you. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to be nothing. You don't have to have nothing. I just love you. He said there are generations in there without any hope. It took me several years to connect the dots to what he meant when he said, first I'm going to qualify you. I thought it meant perhaps formalized training. When this happened, I had already been in the Navy. I was a Navy veteran, 7 years. I served as an enlisted Navy journalist, stationed mostly in the San Francisco Bay Area, on a ship for 3 years, 9 months, and then 2 years at Naval Comm Station Stockton and 2 years at Naval Station Treasure Island. Received my bachelor's degree there in social science from Chaplain University. Started grad school there, and then came to Houston and finished with a master's in history, American history concentration at the University of Houston. And then just recently, in 2014, obtained a master's of divinity from Perkins School of Theology at Step Up SMU. Oh boy. I have worked in various social service positions. I taught HIV education in a couple of state prisons and the city jail, and managed some health department facilities in Houston, taught life skills to recipients of AIDS Foundation Houston who were living in a program in downtown Houston, and taught public school history for 7 years in Houston, and at community college level for 5 years. So when he said qualified, I was wondering what kind of qualifications are we talking about? I had to learn how to love myself.
Yes.
That's what he meant. I remember when he came to me, I said, I'm thinking, are you sure you got the right person? I know you can talk. You could be talking to me. An addict, an alcoholic, had been homeless, had been fired from jobs, disconnected from God, isolated, filled with guilt, filled with shame. I know you're not talking to me. How many of you heard the story of Gideon? When God came to him, he said, hello, you mighty warrior, you. And Gideon, who was, as we say, poor as Job's turkey, thought, I know you're not talking to me. I felt the same way. That's one of the things about Scripture. You see yourself in those same human beings who lived centuries ago. I like the story of the Samaritan woman. And one of the reasons why I chose it, well, there are a couple of reasons. When we talk about coming to the well, we have been talking about water, living water, for the past several weeks here. And one of the reasons why I chose this is because, number one, the story is open-ended. There are other open-ended stories in the Bible. My favorite is the prodigal son. You see, many folks read that, as I thought when I read it, that the story was over when the prodigal son came home and they had barbecue. Like our friends say they had. What was that I thought they said they barbecued burgers and ribs until like what? That's not the end of the story. The end of the story would continue until both the younger son and the older son became like the father. You see, the father loved the younger son and his zest for life, even though it wasn't monitored by discipline. He loved the older son for his motivation to achieve and succeed, even when his life wasn't motivated by passion. He loved them both equally, but they both had to move forward, being like the father. The story wasn't over when they had the meal. But the story of Jesus meeting the woman at the well, what that story does for me is this. It told me, it introduced me rather in 2007, when my Jesus found me in the dumpster. And frequently, up until now, that I am welcome. In fact, I am invited and encouraged and empowered to go back to that well every time I need to be placed on an even keel. When I experience a disconnect, come on back to the well. Recently, we've talked about, we've seen videos and shared amongst each other the recent goings on in our nation. The killings, the involvement of the police and those two African Americans. The reaction in Dallas here, where the president came down and spoke brilliantly about what it takes to heal and come together. And on and on and on. Now add to that, and just think for a second, perhaps you don't have to think for a second at all, whatever's going on in your own lives. The invitation to come to the well is for us individually, but it's also for us as a community, as citizens in a city, in a county, in a state, as a nation. So much of what the president said was an invitation, perhaps let's all go to the well and recommit ourselves and rededicate ourselves and reinvigorate our spirits and our souls so that we can love each other. Jesus met the woman at the well. One of the interesting things about that scripture, in addition to the other factors I've listed, is that he says to her, now, if you drink this particular water, you won't thirst again. So the question that's been asked is, well, if you went to the well that first time, why isn't you thirsty again? And then I think, are you sure you drink the right water? What I mean by that? I am a practicing member of 12-step recovery. And in the years that I have been in and out of it, during periods of extended sobriety, when I looked at the quality of that sobriety, there were periods when I made the big book, which is the book that we use in 12-step recovery, I made that my God. That's not the right water. Prior to that, there was a time in my life where I took my identity from the kind of job I had, the kinds of clothes I wore, the kind of car I drove, the kinds of home furnishings I had, the neighborhood I lived in. What it said on that pay stub, you know, on the bottom of your pay stub where it says your days off, your dental plan, your vision plan, how much your union dues are. I took my identity from that. And then when I lost all of that, I had to figure out, who are you? That's not the right kind of water. I experienced those things with my family members. I have 2 older sisters. And I watched them go from one relationship to another. And their validation, their identity came from somebody else liking them. I don't think they had the right kind of water either. There are so many things disguised as the living water. We have to be very careful just what label we use to sip from. Because initially, they can lead us to think, when I was sober and I made a good with my God, I was going to meetings, I was paying bills on time, I was cleaning, my hygiene was up, I was eating, I was taking my medicine, I was going to church on time. I thought I was doing all the things you do when you drink the living water. Like Jesus says, I am the truth. I am the way. Not the big book, not the job, not the car, not the home furnishings, not the spouse, not the mate, not where you vacation. I am. So how do you know? How do you know it's the right water? For me, one of the first things I noticed, me, selfish and self-centered, ruled by 1,000 forms of fear, the first thing I noticed was, it's awfully inconvenient. Because to do that means I have to put myself down here and put you up here. That's the worst thing. You see, it's not about me. How can I be a blessing to somebody else? How can I be of service today. You know, I believe that people, by and large, this is my experience, I don't think it would make it different. People believe what they see before what they hear. Okay? So I can come to you all day and tell you about the benefits, the rewards that you get from living a righteous life. But if you see me on Grindr and see me over there at the back of house and see me going out of this club and that club and see me have to be carried drunk out of some club over here, or to see me fight in the parking lot with somebody over a parking lot space, then the first thing you think is that old dog won't hunt. Believe what they see or what they hear. So one of the things that I think about when I know I'm drinking the right water is how to carry that message in ways that work. I'm oftentimes reminded of that hymn that says, "They'll know us by our love." When I was 8, my mom took me to one of the leading black pediatricians in Houston. Dr. Kidd, I believe his name was. And let me say something about my folks. My parents came out of nothing and achieved. My mom was an LVN tech. My dad was an attorney. In the early 60s, he gained a position with the Harris County DA's office and became the first black district attorney in the South since Reconstruction. My parents stressed academic and professional achievement. They did not stress how to get along with people. They spent their whole lives, both in the public and private spaces, fighting stereotypes. I was born at Herman Hospital in Houston, and a segregated unit. So they passed down to us those same aspirations, that same middle-class philosophy on living. It was like living in a fishbowl. So we had our meals at the same time. There was no TV on, no music on, no cell phones. You talked at the meal. That's when the parents found out what was going on in school, your social life, and this and that. They taught us how to put together a place setting for the table. The salad fork, the dinner fork, the dessert spoon, the coffee spoon, all these things. How to sit us out to dinner twice a month, how to order from a menu. We went on vacations, how to use the concierge in a hotel. Everything, we put in the napkin in your lap, you fold it at lunch, and it's full out at dinner time. You stand there when the lady comes to the table, you sit back down when she comes back. All of these things, not how to get along. And they'd always remind us, when we were somewhere vacationing or out to dinner in some nice place, you don't see your little classmates here with you, or your little friends in the neighborhood with you. She took me to the pediatrician at 8 years old, and the doctor says, "Jamie, what brings you here today?" Doctor, it's Roger. Well, what Roger? It looks okay to me, this little chubby self. She said, "He's just not like the other boys." I was 8, and I couldn't put it into words. Mom, I'm the same child you raised. I bought into these same middle-class values that you instill in us. But my orientation is different. Here was my primary care provider rejecting a significant part of who I am. Something just wasn't right about Roger. that created a deep wound that never did heal. But I can tell you that booze and dope and sex are very cheap medicines, readily available. You don't need an appointment. You don't need a referral from a primary care physician. You have to make a co-payment on it. And that's what I used. So when Jesus found me at the dump and said, "I won't qualify you to love yourself," he knew that anguish I felt at 8 years old and would just never left me. So acceptance became a big thing for me. I had to sing louder and kick higher. Earlier in the service, we talked about how often we drink water and what it does for us in terms of being essential to life. I've had to go to the well many times. Many times. And this is why he said to me, "My brother, choose again." I've had to choose many times in order to keep stumbling forward. So when I find myself disconnected, isolated, fearful, caught up in self-pity, alone, lonely, disparaging, I have to go to the well. I don't know what to say to you now, other than to say, if you are in that place where there is a disconnect from the love that you are created in, go to the well. If you are heavy in spirit, if you have been told that who you are is unacceptable, who you love is unacceptable, that you just don't fit, and you retreat to that place and find yourself bordering on self-pity and anguish and sorrow, and saying to yourself, "God, why did you do this to me? Why did you make me this way?" And sometimes, "God, why did you let me go that way?" Come to the well. My message to you is one of encouragement, of hope, of uplifting, empowerment. Oftentimes, I sit and I say, "Wow, is that for me?" You sure got the right person. I'm in conference last week with my clinical pastoral education supervisor at the Veterans Hospital. I came to Dallas to do a clinical pastoral education internship at the Veterans Hospital. By the grace of God, I interviewed for the residency. By the grace of God, he gave it to me. So she begged with me to tell me, "I don't notice you're not running and jumping and doing that dance that you do when you win. You don't have any bragging rights or any of that." I said, "Well, this is my 5th attempt to get into CPE. I'm grateful." I am amazed that my God has his hand on me. So so that I can be used as a blessing to other people. I'm grateful for that. I am grateful that he said, Roger, you mighty warrior. Years ago, when I was in the dumpster, and it's taken all these years to connect to that. I'm grateful. But when you have been there, and these wonderful things happen, it's okay to shout and to run and to jump. But for me, to know that there's real meaning when he says, be still and know that I am God. That's what moves me. Me out of the dumpster. And the dumpster can be, even though I was in the physical dumpster, the dumpster can be any place that's a pit. Any place where you put mess, where you put what's not needed, where you put what's not essential to life. As I close here today, I want to leave you with this very good story. You know, young Jewish kids in the time of Christ went to the temple to learn the Torah. And those that were really smart got to stay another so many years learning the Torah and studying with the rabbi. And if you were really good there, I mean, if you could make homemade frosting, not out of the box, but homemade frosting, then you got a chance to go and ask a particular rabbi, well known, renowned, if you could apprentice with him. And he would meet with you, make your appointment, and he would meet with you. And I don't know what it was like when you go to Kelsey's Depot and you go in there and you put out 5 or 6 sheets of paper. Okay? But you meet with him. And he looks at your family history and all of that. And he can tell you one thing. He take 2 things really. One, okay, come on, go with me. Or 2, go on back to your family and take up the family business. Now, if he decided to engage you, you work with him. And you would learn the dynamics and the nuances that are embedded in the laws of the Torah. And the greatest thing, the greatest compliment anyone can say to you was, may you be covered by the dust of your rabbi. I leave you with my friends, my community of believers. May each one of us go from here to Sunday and be covered in the dust